What is up, everybody? This is Lyle with No Hippie Barbecue. What I'll be doing today is going to be a little bit of an experiment. I'm going to be doing some Sriracha barbecue ribs. I'm going to be cooking these on my Camp Chef Woodwind Pellet Grill. One of the reasons I'm going to be cooking it on that is because I'm going to be gone for about 3 hours today, so I figured that would be the perfect smoker to use in this application. Now the ribs bought these ribs, and they're a little bit fattier than what I really like. It looks like there's a layer of fat going between the, anyway, there's just a layer of fat between the bone and the meat that I don't really like. So I was thinking about cooking these ribs at 275 degrees, but I'm going to try to render out as much of this fat as possible. So I'm going to be cooking these a little bit lower for a longer period of time. I'm going to be smoking these about 225 degrees. As far as the ribs go, the Sriracha ribs, I'm doing 3 racks, but we're going to use the Sriracha sauce as a binder. Alright. We're going to get both sides rubbed down. I'm not a huge fan of Sriracha myself. I can live with it, but I'm not crazy about it like, a lot of people are. And what I'm going to be using is this Sriracha seasoning. I tasted it. Has a good flavor to it. Also has a little bit more sugar than I thought it would have had. So we're just going to go straight with this and no other seasoning on it. We are going to be wrapping these a little bit down the road and introducing a little bit of honey, a little bit more Sriracha, brown sugar, butter, stuff like that. One thing I can tell you is that this Sriracha is putting some good color on these ribs. We got this smoker up to temp. We're just going to go ahead and get these ribs on. The setting I'm going to be cooking them on for the 3 hours when I'm away is there's a low smoke setting on this, and that is going to put us somewhere in the 240, 250-ish range. As a matter of fact, I'm going to bring you guys in a close-up so you can take a look at the computer panel on this Camp Chef Woodwind. What the control panel looks like, you have low smoke, high smoke, and then it goes from 175 up to, well, high would be about 450 degrees. Anyway, we're not going to be spritzing these down or anything during the cook. We're just going to let them roll. Just got back. We are at 3 hours and 15 minutes in on these ribs since I put them on. That low smoke setting has kept these ribs somewhere in that 230, 240 range. I'm going to go ahead and pump them up to about 275 degrees. I'm going to check them back in another hour. But like I said, I am trying to render off a lot of the fat that's in these ribs. We are about another hour and a half in. I had that pumped up to about 265, 270 degrees. Meat's looking like it's pulling away from the bone, so it's time for us to go ahead and bring these inside and get them wrapped up. Go ahead and wrap these ribs up. First thing I'm going to do is we're just going to take some brown sugar. We're going to lay down a nice little layer of that. And you can add as much or as little as you like. What's going to happen is all this brown sugar is going to melt with the rest of these ingredients, and it's going to make a nice glaze to top these ribs off with later. Alright, so we got our brown sugar down. Spread that out a little bit. Go ahead and hit it with this squeeze butter. If you don't have squeeze butter, regular butter would work just as good.
For a second. It's just fast. If you ever doubt, you can always do it again. There's occasionally I'll do it. I'll be like, wait a minute.
Alright. Hit it with some of our Sriracha.
Actually, that's the one that has to be for GMA. And I do have it on my desktop, but it doesn't work. The drive's still down.
And some of our honey.
There you go.
Alright. Take our rib. We're going to put our rib meat side down on this. And then I'm going to come over the back side of this with a little bit more butter. sriracha. And just a little bit of honey, not as much as we put on the first side. Just a drizzle. Alright. And we're going to wrap this up. And when we put this back out on the smoker, it's going to go meat side down again on that smoker. Alright, I'm going to let this go for about another 45 minutes, an hour. Should be good to go. I just pulled these off the smoker for the final time. Here's where all the magic happens as far as I'm concerned. What we're going to do is we're going to take these ribs. It's got a lot of nice little juice in there. We're going to go ahead and drain off that juice. I'm just putting it in a pan. We're going to do that for all of these ribs. And this is going to be what our final glaze is all about. And by doing it this way, what you end up with is a nice glaze. And it doesn't look like you're painting lacquer or something on your ribs. There's not a lot of streak marks or anything like that. Okay, so that's going to be our glaze. I'm going to pull all of these out of the foil and we're going to get glazing them down. Okay, this is our final step. Now this is a thin glaze I'm going to put on here. If you wanted, you could heat this up and reduce it down a little bit. This is about the thickness of like a maple syrup right here. And we're just going to kind of blot it on. I don't want to brush any of that seasoning off this on here. And once I get this glaze applied to these ribs, I'm going to let them sit for about 15 minutes, let that glaze take hold. I haven't tasted these ribs at all. I did taste that sauce, and that sauce is pretty spicy, so let's get in. First thing I'm noticing, cooking those ribs at that real low temperature has put a smoke ring almost all the way to the bone on this. Let's go ahead and take a bite. Turn this around. This is awesome. It does seem like I was able to render out a lot of that fat in there. If you like Sriracha sauce, definitely give this a try. You can definitely taste that seasoning coming through from the spice I threw on there, and then you get the elements of that actual Sriracha sauce that we used as a binder and applied at the glaze at the end. It does kind of tone that down a little bit, so if you're not a huge Sriracha fan like me, you get elements of it, but it brings in a lot of that, sweet flavor like the honey and the brown sugar. Anyway, give this a shot. I'm telling you, if you like Sriracha, you're going to love this. Thanks for stopping by No Hippie Barbecue. I appreciate it. Comment, subscribe. I'm out.